Okay everyone, so here we have an array of gelato flavors, and we're going to perform a linear search on this array to look for a specific flavor. So let's say, now notice that this is an array of strings, and let's say that the string I'm interested in, I'm going to put it in a variable called search flavor. And let's say I'm interested in finding coffee, and you can see by looking at the flavors in my array that coffee is in fact in that array. So we're going to look for coffee and find the position, the array index, the index at which that particular value resides. So why don't we'll capture that index in a variable called found at index. Maybe kind of a long name, but it is descriptive. I'm going to initialize it to a -1. -1 because that is not a possible index in the array. So initializing it to kind of that garbage value ensures that you don't have an actual array index in there by mistake. Okay, and then how about a Boolean, which we'll call found, and right now we haven't found anything, so I'm initializing that to false. Okay, so why don't we create a loop? I like the for loop because all of the essentials are right there in the syntax. So I'll create just a loop counter variable called I. Notice I'm initializing it to 0 because the array indexes start at 0. So when you're looping through an array, you always start at 0. And we're going to keep going while I is less than. Notice I have this max flavors variable, which is, there are 10 flavors in the array. So while I is less than max flavors, and while we haven't found what we're looking for yet. Okay, so that would, adding this part prevents the loop from keeping to keep going even after we've already found the value. Even though coffee is kind of towards the end, it would be pointless to keep going through the rest of it. So that kind of stops that. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and add our increment. Throw down a curly brace sandwich here. Okay, so now here's the nitty-gritty for our linear search. We're going to say if we're inside the loop and we're performing this test on every element in the array as long as we haven't found the flavor yet. So we'll say if flavors, accessing that element in the array, loop counter as array index, we've talked about that. If it's equal to the search flavor, okay, then we found the flavor, right? So we will capture that index. We'll say found at index equals whatever I is in this iteration of the loop. And then also I'm going to set my Boolean value to variable to true. Okay, because now we found that flavor. Okay, and that's that. That's your linear search. So I guess what we can do is display the results to the user. So for example, if found, because we also have to consider the fact that it wasn't found, but we know in this case it will be found. Okay, so if found, then we'll say search flavor, just doing some basic output here, has been found at index, and then the found index, found at index. Okay, and down. Okay, or else, and it wasn't found, and I'll do something appropriate here. There you have it. That's our linear search. So we'll go ahead and run this. Okay, coffee was found at index 7, which is the 8th place in the array. Okay, and then maybe I'll do a flavor that I know is not in there. How about some cherry flavor. And the cherry was not found.